Hey everybody, welcome back to JT channel, and in lieu of my normal Sunday videos, I figured since we are exactly 1 week away from WrestleMania Night 2, let's not get confused here, that we could go ahead and do my WrestleMania picks and predictions. Don't worry, my normal Sunday video, MAW, will be a later day this week. I just figured this was perfect for today. Now, for those of you who haven't seen, WWE has released what matches are taking place on each night. Night 1, Night 2. There are 13 matches. 7 on night 1, 6 on night 2, and according to what I read online today, the main show is going to be 4 hours, which makes perfect sense, of course it is, but they're going to have like 3-hour pre-shows and 2-hour post-shows. I'm only watching the main program, okay? I'm not going to do all that. But I have written down all the matches for each night. I don't know what order they're going to be in. I just know what the main events are going to be, so I'm not predicting the WrestleMania card order. Little bit of housekeeping. This was a struggle. There were a lot of matches on this card. Probably 95% of them where I sat there going, who's going to win this match? The predictions were much harder this year, and I think that's a good thing. I love that. I love that there's so many matches that, could go either way, and everyone can kind of be okay with it. I will mention what matches those are if I've figured them out, because there are 3 matches, 2 on night 1, 1 on night 2, that I still wrote a question mark for the prediction. So I don't know if that's me being a bad wrestling presenter, reviewer. I'm definitely not a journalist. But whatever, just so you know, when I run into those matches, I'll let you know that I don't have a prediction. And if I run into the ones where I didn't have a prediction but then changed my mind, I'll also bring that up. So we're going to jump into it here, a good almost 2-minute intro to get you guys kind of prepared for it. So on night 1, the first match I have written down is Rey Mysterio versus definitely not Chad Gable, El Grande Americano. For me, I think El Grande Americano's got to win. Like, that's my pick. Again, definitely not Chad Gable. Wink. But, okay, I'll stop with that. I'll stop. It's clearly Chad Gable in a mask, and I think Chad Gable deserves a big win, especially at WrestleMania. It's awesome that he's getting a showcase for Rey Mysterio. There's no way these two can have a bad match. If you put Chad Gable in the ring with anybody, it's going to be good. You put Chad Gable in the ring with a legend, with a pro like Rey Mysterio, someone who I don't think's ever had a bad match. I mean, we can have the conversation, but it's going to be really good. It's going to be probably too good. I wouldn't mind if it kicked off night 1, to be honest with you. Like I said, I'm not trying to predict the order, but I think Rey and Chad would put a really good bar. They'd set the bar really high. However, my prediction is Rey Mysterio. It just kind of feels that's the direction the story is heading, because a lot of people are already sick of this El Grande Americano storyline. I'm one of them. I'm not mad about it. I'm not cussing out Triple H because he's disrespecting Lucha Heritage. Chad Gable is a goofball character. They've done this shit a million times, okay? Do you remember the Conquistadors? If you do not remember the Conquistadors, you're either way too young or your brain has leaked them out, and that's fair enough. But you look up stuff like that, or when DDP dressed up as La Parka. This kind of stuff happens all the time, okay? And with Chad Gable being a goofball character, it makes sense that he did something like this. So, in my mind, prediction-wise, Rey will probably unmask El Grande and, I don't know, hit him with 619 or roll him up or whatever. So I can see WWE going that way, but me personally, I think it's time for Chad Gable to get a really big win, and him beating WWE Hall of Famer and all-around wrestling legend Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania, I think sets that up just perfectly. So, once again, my pick is El Grande Americano. Again, certainly not Chad Gable. Why would it be Chad Gable? But I predict that they're going to put Rey over. Next up, I have the New Day versus the War Raiders for the tag team titles. I thought this was going to come into some stipulation. Maybe there still will be. Maybe they'll add that on Raw this week. Remember, there's still a Raw and a SmackDown, so they could always add stuff in the last week. I don't like it when they do that, but it's WWE. My pick and my prediction are exactly the same. It's a New Day. Yes, it is. Now, I, for one, think that this heel turn has been handled horrendously. They didn't wrestle for weeks. They just cut promos. They made fans boo them. They said, your sports team sucks. They did the usual heel crap, which annoyed me because it was such a perfect heel turn. But they started to get wins. They started to really show their true colors more. And I'm happier now than I was with the presentation. Didn't really care for the tag team title stuff on Raw last week. I feel like that was a little convoluted, which we will get to more convoluted stuff later on. But I'm excited for the rematch. I still think maybe they should have put it like no disqualification or something, because clearly the New Day want to cheat. But either way, I picked the New Day because after all this crap with the New Day, with their heel turn, it's time for them to become the tag team champions. And I think it's just time for the War Raiders to drop the belts. I'm going to move my thing here. Okay. Anyway, I think it's time for them to drop the belts. The New Day's perfect for people to drop them to. I do predict, I think that's what the direction WWE is going to go in. It also wouldn't make much sense. It's one of those things where when you turn heel and you do it as well as the New Day did, like people were comparing it to Hogan joining the NWO, or starting the NWO, I suppose. So being compared to Hogan in 96 is pretty big fucking praise. Pardon my French here. Just kidding. Don't ever pardon my language. But this is the only way for this story to go. Why would you turn heel that badly if you're just going to fail? Why wouldn't you just be a good guy? Why don't you stay good? So pick and prediction is the New Day. I don't see why not. I just think it's the right way to go. They'll have a really good match. Hopefully they'll be given some more time. Like I said at the beginning, it's supposed to be a 4-hour show, 7 matches in 4 hours. I think you can give the tag team titles a little bit of time. Okay, here comes the first match where my prediction is a massive question mark, and it is Naomi versus Jade Cargill. My pick is Jade Cargill. I know a lot of people think Naomi should win. Same concept I just said a minute ago. Why would you turn heel if you're not going to make something of it? The reason I'm picking Jade is, one, I'm way too big a Jade Cargill fan. Since the first time she arrived in AEW, because remember, I watch all wrestling, I was a big fan of hers. I loved her streak. I love how her streak ended. I lost my shit when she joined WWE. I lost my shit when she was in the Rumble. I've just constantly been a Jade Cargill fan, and she's the definition of that Jerry Lawler quote. She got muscle in places they ain't even got places. And the story, I think, falls on the opposite side of the New Day stuff. Where the New Day story, they need to win the tag team titles. They got to make something of themselves being heels. On this side, Naomi is making something of herself as a heel, but Jade's got to get her revenge. I would love for Naomi to get a big win at WrestleMania. I'm not saying I'd be mad. This is one of those matches where I don't actually care who wins. And that's a lot of these matches. Ray versus El Grande, New Day versus the War Raiders. I really want the War Raiders to win. But Naomi versus Jade, and a lot of the matches at WrestleMania 41, I don't really care who wins. But if I were, for the purposes of this video, my picks and predictions stuff that I love doing, I think I want Jade to win. But as far as my predictions go, I'm not sure. WWE could go either direction. I can see them, like I said, giving Jade the win, giving her her revenge. She gets back at Naomi and beats her at WrestleMania. Whereas I can see Naomi being like, I turned heel, and I'm so good at playing this character, and my new arsenal is so intense that I can beat you on the grandest stage of them all. Or maybe she cheats. I was a little disappointed that they weren't given a stipulation. This is a very lacking of stipulations pay-per-view for how many blood feuds they have going. There are not a lot, but there are a couple of pretty good multi-man matches that they will likely take advantage of the no disqualification rule. So there's that. But I was kind of expecting this to be some sort of street fight hardcore match. I don't know. Maybe a backstage brawl, maybe false counting or something. But that aside, I'm sure they'll do absolutely fine. Sorry, I'm having trouble clearing my throat. That's why there's a bunch of breaks. But my pick, just to kind of skip to the end here because I'm babbling, is Jade Cargill. I don't really have a prediction. I'm very excited to see what WWE does here. I'm sure the match will be absolutely fantastic. Next up, we have LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. I'm sorry, LA Knight. Yeah. Versus Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship. Pick a prediction, the exact same thing, Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu is one of those wrestlers who I've been following since well before he was in the WWE. Got super hyped for his WWE debut, and he has been treated so well. Him and Braun Strowman had a last man standing match that I just loved. For those of you who don't know, last man standing is my favorite stipulation. So, not that that's important information, but the more you know. So when I didn't even know they were having a last man standing match. I turned on SmackDown as just kind of that week as just kind of hey, I've got nothing better to do. Let's turn on SmackDown. And they were like, coming up next, Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman in the last man standing match. And I freaked out because I'm such a huge fan of Braun Strowman, and I've obviously loved Jacob Fatu. This whole story's been great. I just feel like it's time. You got to put a belt on Jacob Fatu. And the United States title is a great idea. I do think he'll be world champion by WrestleMania next year. If not, he should be at least winning the Rumble, winning the Chamber. He should be going for a world title at WrestleMania 42. But that's another conversation for another day. And I do predict that they're going to do that. LA Knight is a fantastic champion. He's a fantastic competitor, wrestler, character, whatever. Obviously, people love him. But it's time for him to drop the title, and for him to drop it to Fatu is just perfect. So, I don't really have much else to say. I don't know if the Bloodline 2.0 is going to get involved. I do realize that WWE dropped the graphics for both nights, and they did not put Randy Orton versus Solo Sikoa. So, if that match is added, we'll talk about it. But yeah, so Jacob Fatu is my pick and my prediction. I just think it makes sense. And on that note, I will say, if they add Randy Orton versus Solo Sikoa, I will put that in this video because I don't feel like adding like a short or a clip onto this. That's one of those matches where I'll probably pick Randy Orton because he's one of my favorite wrestlers ever, and I'll probably predict Randy Orton as well. It sucks that Orton and Kevin Owens, got their match taken away. Please, for the love of God, get well, Kevin Owens. Get well as soon as you can. You probably never see this video, but I hope Kevin Owens is well soon. I hope his career isn't over. I know there are rumors that this surgery could take him out for good. All that matters is that he's okay. But I do think if you put Orton in any kind of position at WrestleMania this year, he needs to win. I do love the brief idea that... Sorry, I thought it was a hair sticking out. Mark on the wall. The idea that he was going to wrestle Nick Aldis. Maybe they'll do that match at SummerSlam. That would be awesome. But just in case they throw that match in there, my pick and my prediction is Randy Orton. I got that. Told you I can't clear my throat. Okay, time for the big matches on night one. Night one, they threw, they knew what they were doing. They knew that night two was going to have big matches. So they threw two major title matches and, of course, the big main event of night one. So first up, basically both Rumble winners. Both Rumble winner matches are taking place on night one. Starting with Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton for the Women's World Championship. My pick is Tiffany Stratton, and my prediction is Charlotte Flair. I don't think I need to tell you guys why Charlotte is my prediction. I'm not like the rest of the fans out there who just get mad every time Charlotte's music hits. She's a fantastic competitor. I know she has been shoved in our faces a little more than even Roman Reigns was. It feels like she was sped to the top with these, 14 title reigns. So I get it. I totally understand. Which is why, while I may not be angry, Charlotte Flair, rawr, I do think WWE is probably going to go that direction. It's the safe route. But I have another reason why they will do that. But first, because I have these marked 1 and 2. If I put a 1, it was my pick. If I put a 2, it was my prediction. So since my picks were first, I'm going to talk about Tiffany Stratton for a moment. She has been one of the fastest rising superstars I've seen in a while. What was it? Elimination Chamber overseas, Australia or something? I really don't remember. It was 2 years ago at the Elimination Chamber. She was in the match, and she came out and got a huge reaction, which nobody expected. It was a surprise. People knew who she was, obviously, but WWE and fans alike, me included, we're sitting there wow, that's crazy. People really like her, and ever since then, her star has just risen. She's been a great champion. The build to this match has been a little funky, and no, I'm not just talking about the divorce comments and the Ludwig's in my DMs crap. That was weird, but I mean, because we had to get through the Elimination Chamber, there was this disconnect because there was all this other stuff going on. But once we got past that, it's gotten really good. All their brawls have been great. Putting Charlotte over as this dickhead heel where she's oh, I'm better than you and I'll always be better than you and you're never going to be me. It's just worked, which is why I think Tiffany should win. Tiffany should overcome Charlotte and just have her moment. She's had her moments, don't get me wrong, but she should have her big WrestleMania moment where she beats the 14-time, 15-time, 9,000-time champion and puts her in her place because of everything she's done to Tiffany. I do think WWE is going to give it to Charlotte, but I think there may be a method to their madness, which isn't always the case, I know. People will be mad about it, but I think if they do that, if they give it to Charlotte, I think they're going to give it back to Tiffany later down the line. I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm not saying that's a good strategy. But if they have Charlotte beat Tiffany and they have Tiffany work her way back up to a rematch, maybe against SummerSlam, because SummerSlam's 2 nights this year, so they've really got to build the first 2-night SummerSlam. Excuse me. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Excuse me. Tickle in my throat. Then they can have Stratton be like, oh, I couldn't beat Charlotte, but then they build her up, build that confidence back up, and then she gets to her rematch with Charlotte and beats her, and maybe Charlotte respects her or something. I don't know. But my pick is Tiffany Stratton, and my prediction is Charlotte Flair. This is one of those matches where I'm not going to care who wins. Yes, I know we're all sick of Charlotte Flair. I'm a little sick of Charlotte Flair, but she's too good for me to be mad if she wins her whatever title, 15th or 16th. I really don't know, and I really am not sure I care. Right. This is the one that's going to divide the internet right down the middle, because it's Jey Uso versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. My pick and prediction are the same. Yeet. I think everyone is pretty much predicting Jey Uso winning. A lot of people aren't picking him. We've been through this. People are, the same people that are saying, oh, Royal Rumble winners aren't allowed to main event WrestleManias anymore, are also saying that Jey Uso and Charlotte Flair don't deserve to have their championship matches. So those people, you people, if you're watching this, you're incapable of happiness, go away. Everybody else, let's talk. So I want Jey Uso to win because I have been such a big fan of his since the whole split when he ooses left SmackDown, well, left WWE, and then 2 weeks later came back at Saturday Night's Main Event or whatever it was. That was hilarious. It reminded me of when CM Punk left the WWE forever with the WWE title and showed up 2 weeks later on Raw. But it's hard not to get behind him. He has worked his ass off. As a tag team wrestler. And then when he became a singles wrestler, he's done all this stuff. He was even Intercontinental Champion for a little while. That was crazy. I loved that. And now he's won the Royal Rumble, where he last eliminated John Cena, of all people. And this storyline's been great. He botched a dive, right? I hate that fucking word, by the way. As far as I'm concerned, botch is more of a swear word than fuck. Okay? But he did. He messed up a dive. He didn't top dollar it, but he messed up a dive. And then the next week he slipped. And he was like, oh, I can't do it. And then they had Gunther kill Jimmy Uso. I don't know why Gunther's not in prison, because Jimmy Uso's definitely dead. And now he's like, that promo he cut on Gunther this past Monday was the best promo I've ever heard him cut, ever. He was all serious. He didn't heat with the crowd. He was like, I'm going to pray for me, and I'm going to pray for you, because what I'm going to do to you at WrestleMania, I want to be forgiven for. And I'm like, this is great. I love this Jey Uso. Now he has to yeet with the crowd at WrestleMania, right? He's got to. In Vegas, probably 70,000 people or so. But I also predict he's going to win, because it just one of those things that makes the most sense. He'll probably get his ass beat. He will. He's going to get thrown around like yesterday's cheese. I don't even know what that means. But in the end, he's going to win. It's going to be a good moment. Everyone's going to cheer and scream and yeet until their arms fall off. Like we all yesed until our arms fell off back at WrestleMania 30. And it's going to be a feel-good moment. I know people don't like Jey Uso, but even if you don't like him, look at the crowds, look at the merch, look at the children, look at the behind-the-scenes video that was released a while back after he won the Royal Rumble, where like Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu were high-fiving and hugging him. They're so proud of him. It's going to be a big moment for Jey. It really is. I do think Jimmy will show up. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if the referee gets taken out or something like that, and Gunther starts like murdering Jey, and then Jimmy shows up, and like we get like a double super kick. Maybe not at the same time, but like Jimmy super kicks, Jey super kicks. Maybe Jimmy super kicks again, and he gets caught, and Gunther gets caught with a spear, and he kicks out at 2. That's going to be a great moment, like a bunch of super kicks and a spear, 1, 2. Oh! It's just going to be awesome. So my pick and prediction is Jey Uso. I don't know why I have to always mention that's controversial. Like I've said in the past, it's like if you worked for 12, 13 years at a job, and you got this major promotion, and you were like, oh my God, I can't believe it, I got the promotion. and all of your coworkers told you didn't deserve it, you don't know what you're doing, there's all these other people that are better than you, and it would suck. So, Jey Uso is my pick and my prediction. Yeet. Okay, so we are on the 7th match of Night 1. We're 20 minutes in, and I'm only on Night 1. The main event of Night 1, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. My pick should be obvious. I'm always going to pick CM Punk. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I won't go into massive, elongated detail. If you want me to, if you want to hear my reasonings for why I love these three so much, there are other videos on it. I think I did one called... why this WrestleMania could be the best one ever. I have a couple WrestleMania videos, and in one or two of them I explain the fact that these are three of my favorite wrestlers ever, and especially in WWE. They may be my three favorite WWE superstars ever. I've been watching them for ages and ages and ages, and they've always been top tier for me, no matter what. So, while I love all three of them, CM Punk is still my favorite. This is something I thought about a lot while making this list, writing the matches down and going, who do I pick? And I was like, man, I really do love Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, but CM Punk is finally wrestling at WrestleMania, his first Mania in, 11 years, and he's just, or I think it's 12. It's 12, because he didn't wrestle at WrestleMania 30. I should know, I was there. Go check out that video. I reviewed it. Let's get back to WrestleMania 41. Why am I doing this? So, it's been 12 years since his last WrestleMania, which was WrestleMania 29 against The Undertaker. He should have beaten the streak. Different video, different day. So, it makes sense. That's why I picked him. And I almost predicted him, but then you have to look at the story with Paul Heyman. I don't know what direction WWE is going to go in here, because you could go any direction. You could have Paul being like, oh, I don't know what to do. Just kidding. We the ones, my tribal chief, I acknowledge you. And Roman Reigns wins. Plus, you have to think about the fact that Roman Reigns lost last year. He's won like 5 WrestleManias in a row, 6 WrestleManias in a row. I don't know. He won a shitload of WrestleManias in a row. And last year he finally lost with his record-breaking title reign and everything. Is WWE gonna have him lose 2 years in a row? It's a lot like when the Undertaker streak ended. I know it's 2 different things. Don't yell at me. But it's reminiscent of the Undertaker lost his streak. Of course he's not going to lose next year. Roman Reigns had a, 1,400 day title reign? Like 4 years? Is he really going to lose 2 years in a row? I don't know. Seth Rollins. He was out for a long time. And last year he lost main event night 1 and got injured I think got injured on night 1 and was dealing with an injury when he showed up on night 2 to help Cody Rhodes win. So does Seth lose this year? Or is it time for Seth's big moment? And does Paul Heyman join Seth Rollins? I don't think he should. I don't think that makes any sense. WWE would make it work, and Paul Heyman would make it work. But then you look at CM Punk. Like I said, his first WrestleMania in 12 years, his first WrestleMania main event. Yes, Saturday counts as a main event. I'm done talking about it. So does he need to lose? And and whoever wins, who do they pin? Because that is also going to be important. I don't think people are thinking about that. These are the 3 biggest stars of right now. Like, it's just that simple, with the exception of like Cody Rhodes and John Cena and Gunther and Uso. Anyway, 3 of the biggest stars ever. Whoever wins, whoever takes the pin, and whoever isn't involved is all gonna matter. Like, I want CM Punk to win, right? If he pins Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns isn't involved, Roman is gonna be pissed because he just lost at WrestleMania, but he wasn't even involved in the decision. So that's going to make him mad at both Seth and Punk. And Seth is going to lose his mind because he just lost to CM Punk again. He didn't win the cage match in his way, and now he took another Punk pin, and it was on WrestleMania. That's just one example. I'm not going to go through all of them. So there's so much detail, so much story. This is like the Yggdrasil of WWE. There's so many branches that could go out in different directions. I cannot believe I just made that fucking reference. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm a nerd. But my pick is CM Punk. My prediction is fuck all. I don't know. So that's night 1. Let's hope I don't spend another 25 minutes talking about night 2. But first match I have on here on night 2 is AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. My pick is AJ Styles. I have been an AJ Styles fan since 2006. When I saw him live in 2016 or so, Yeah, 2016. It was at that Payback I mentioned when he wrestled Roman Reigns. I screamed and cried because I waited like a decade to see him live, and I never went to a TNA show when he was in TNA. That's, I know I'm rambling, but I'm just saying, I've been an AJ Styles fan for ages and ages and ages, almost 20 years now, and now I'm happy as hell that he's wrestling at WrestleMania again. He is wrestling Logan Paul, who nobody likes, and that's fair. You're not supposed to like him. But that leads me to my prediction, which is Logan Paul. This is WWE. It's Logan Paul. I think they're going to have an absolute banger. I haven't used that word yet, so I'm going to use it here. Banger alert. You can hate Logan Paul all you want, but he's a fantastic wrestler. I know he kind of apes most of Hangman Adam Page's moveset, but why is that a bad thing? I assume there's going to be a couple of really cool spots that we're all going to go, whoa, what was that? But I do see Logan Paul winning this matchup from the WWE standpoint. This is another one, and I know this one, again, controversy time. I don't care who wins. I know I'm supposed to hate Logan Paul, and I do, but not in the ways that other people do. I don't hate him genuinely. I hate him in the fact that I'm supposed to hate him, because he's a heel, he's a bad guy. Yes, I know, he's a bit of a douchebag, cryptocurrency, Japan, blah, 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 blah. I know. Or, not cryptocurrency, what was that? What were they? I can see it in my head, but you know what I'm talking about. NFTs, there we go. All that crap. I know about his controversies. I know about his bullshit. I'm more invested in the pro wrestling side of things, I drink Prime. I'm not going to lie to you. Am I proud of myself? No. But I do. I drink Prime. So, my pick, AJ Styles, just because I'm such a big AJ Styles fan. I'd love for him to get another win at WrestleMania. I'm not sure if he's won at WrestleMania yet, but this is a big show, and I feel like this match is going to be under the radar because of all the other matches. Well, the next match is going to be more under the radar, but AJ Styles, my pick. Logan Paul, my prediction. I don't wonder if he's ever going to give his version of the Buckshot a name, because he doesn't have a... I do like his new finisher. The Pulverizer is fucking killer, all right? You cannot look me in the eyes and tell me that's not a great finish. Okay, more controversy time, because this is probably the match that most people are going to take a break. And I don't mean that to be mean. It's the fact that this match has zero build, was put together on SmackDown, and the challengers don't make a lick of goddamn sense. But it is Bayley and the Women's Intercontinental Champion, Lyra Valkyria, taking on Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. We'll talk about Chelsea Green in a second. Just like the Randy Orton Souls Co match, they don't have Chelsea Green on the graphics just yet, but we'll get there after this. For the women's tag team titles, like I said, it just doesn't make any sense. It seemed like we were heading towards like Bayley and Lyra at Mania, and then they had a match on Raw, which obviously meant Lyra was going to win, which she did with a roll-up, for God's sake. And then they won the tag team gauntlet. They were one of the first two teams in. They went all the way through. They beat the Secret Hervis, which also doesn't make any sense, because it just... having Piper and Alba go on to go for the tag titles while Chelsea's the U.S. champ would have made more sense. So it's very last minute. It's very transparent that WWE just wants to get like these big stars on the WrestleMania card. Lyra is very over. Don't get me wrong. I love Lyra Valkyria, and obviously it's fucking Bayley. Come on now. But it just doesn't make any sense. My pick and my prediction are exactly the same. Liv and Raquel are going to retain. I'm kind of hopeful that Bayley turns on Lyra or Lyra turns on Bayley. It's hard to hate Bayley. I think if she turned on Lyra, everyone would still cheer her. And that's nothing against Lyra. Bayley's just she's reached that peak where she could kick a puppy on national television and we'd all be like, hey, Bayley. So if they're going to do a heel turn, it probably should be Lyra, because it'd be easy to hate someone attacking Bayley versus Bayley attacking someone. I don't know what else to say here. Liv and Raquel are fantastic. I love the Judgment Day. I do think they're going to break up soon. We'll talk about that later. They're going to retain their titles. This isn't one where there's a lot, like I said, there's no build. It doesn't make any sense. I think that they're going to retain. I want them to retain. I want the women's tag team titles to be treated seriously, for God's sake. And I would like Lyra to turn on Bayley, and we can get that match maybe down the road at SummerSlam or something. pick a prediction, live or cup. Here comes another match where I do not have... This is the last match on here where my prediction is a massive question mark. It is the Women's World Championship match. Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair. My pick is Io Sky. It makes sense to me with this storyline that Io should win. She was almost my prediction, but we'll talk about that in a second. This whole story has been that Rhea thinks Bianca doesn't want to fight her, and Bianca's like, no, bitch, I want a piece of you now, yesterday, and tomorrow. And Io's just kind of left out, which doesn't make any sense because she's the Women's World Champion. So, for me, Io has to win, right? The story is, I'm not a third wheel. I beat both of you at WrestleMania. She does the... I love doing that. I love her so much. Io Sky is one of my favorite women's wrestlers on the planet, and I am willing to go outside of that and say she's one of my favorite wrestlers in the world, period. If I did a top 10, top 15, top 20, and used all genders, she would be in probably the top 10. I love her so much. She is so talented. She's so underrated, and I'm so happy that since she won the title from Rhea, that she's been getting this massive fan support that she's always deserved. I've told this story a few times. When she returned at SummerSlam in Nashville, I was there. I was in the crowd. And when her music hit, I was sitting on the outside seat, and I ran to the aisleway and ran around in a circle like a little kid. I was so excited. I almost fell down the concrete steps. Don't do that. So I want Io to win. Yes, I'm a huge Rhea Ripley fan. Yes, I'm a huge Bianca Belair fan. But I just really think Io deserves a big moment at WrestleMania like this. My prediction, the reason it's a question mark is because, again, you have to think about it from WWE's perspective. Rhea Ripley was one of the most successful women's champions they've ever had as far as her reactions and her merch, and just all that shit. So why wouldn't they have Rhea win the title at WrestleMania, right? Makes sense. Except for the fact that storyline-wise, she just kind of keeps sticking her nose in the business, and Adam Pearce was like, I can't handle y'all. I'm going to put you in the title match, and that'll make you knock it off. Whereas Bianca won the Elimination Chamber, and same thing. Winning the Elimination Chamber is huge, so maybe Bianca should win the title and be like, look, I told you, Rhea, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of Io. Couple of KODs, 1, 2, 3, I'm the champ again. Now, my personal feelings is that Bianca shouldn't win. Maybe she shouldn't even be involved in the finish, because I really want her to go to SmackDown and go beef with Jade Cargill. That's what I want. I really want us to do Bianca and Jade either at SummerSlam this year or WrestleMania next year. I don't know why I pointed behind me like WrestleMania 42 is right behind me. That's my opinion. We got to do Bianca Jade at some point. So maybe they shift around at the draft, or there's that crossover point for a few months later in the year. I just don't think Bianca should win. It's not that I don't love her to death. I really, 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 really do. I want to get that through to people because, oh, you don't like Bianca Belair? No, I love Bianca Belair. But I just don't think it's her time. Yes, I know she won the Chamber, but I stand by what I said. My prediction, I just don't know. Maybe she will win the title, and we'll do more stuff with Rhea. That's the only question, and I don't want to get into this right now, is if Io does win, what does Rhea and Bianca, what do they do after WrestleMania? But I'll stick to my guns. My pick is Io Sky. My prediction is a massive question mark. This is another match where I'm not really going to be mad no matter who wins. When they all came out on Raw this past Monday, and let's be honest, who likes short shorts? Io Sky wears short shorts. All I could think of was, I love all three of these women. Anybody can win and I'll be happy, but I'll be happiest if Io Sky retains. Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre in a Sin City street fight is up next. My pick is Drew McIntyre, and my prediction is Damian Priest. Now, I'm picking Drew McIntyre because over the last 2 years, he has been doing some of the best loser heel work I have ever seen. Even if he wins, right? Even if he wins matches, he still comes out and has something to complain about, and it's always right. Every time he comes out on screen, everyone's like, oh, it's Drew, here he comes to whine and complain. And then he says everything, and you're like, he's absolutely correct, isn't he? So I would love for this match to take the violence to another level. Like I said, there's a couple of multi-man matches in here where you could use weapons, which we'll talk about one here in just a moment. But this one is labeled a street fight, a Sin City street fight, because you got to put the name of the city or some cool name involving the city when you're having a street fight. And I just think this is going to be awesome. I think they're really going to push the violence. I wouldn't be surprised if both men are bleeding by the end of it. And I just think it's Drew's next big moment. I think he should beat Damian Priest, and then he should go shoot back up to the top of the card and start going after whoever the champion is, whether it's the world title or the WWE title. We'll talk about that another day. But yeah, so I'm picking Drew, but I do think WWE is going to give it to Damian. It's Damian Priest, right? He is a main event superstar. He's a top player. I don't get people that say he isn't. Ever since he was world champion, he's stayed at the top. And I can see WWE, beating Drew again because it works well. Drew McIntyre can lose a street fight at WrestleMania and not shift his position in the card. And that'll just give him something to do, after WrestleMania. He can come out on Raw and talk about losing, or SmackDown, which I think he's on SmackDown more now. But either way, he could, maybe that's a feud for Rusev or Aleister Black. Ooh. Sorry. So yeah, I think it'll be an awesome match. I think it'll be one of those matches that people aren't thinking about too much until it happens, until the bell rings. These two are going to beat the absolute shit out of each other. Pick Drew McIntyre, prediction Damian Priest. I realize I forgot to talk about Chelsea Green. I apologize for that. But like I mentioned, much like the Randy Orton Solo Sikoa match, it's not on the graphics, so I don't know if it's happening. Chelsea Green and Zelina Vega are feuding right now. I do not know if they're going to have a match at WrestleMania or not. I'm going to make this one really simple, like the Orton Sikoa one. Chelsea Green should win. Chelsea Green is going to win. My pick and prediction would be Chelsea Green. She's been doing way too well. From what I understand, the news is coming out that the loss she suffered on SmackDown was an accident. It was a shoot. The referee was doing the count out and Chelsea wasn't paying attention. And the referee got, referees in WWE and in most wrestling companies, from what I understand, are told to call it like a shoot. Just do your job. And the referee got to 10 before Chelsea got back in the ring, and so he had to call the match. I'm not going to blame the referee. I'm not going to blame Chelsea Green. Mistakes happen. Stop being mean. Okay? It's like I mentioned earlier. Imagine you're at your job, whatever your freaking job is, you're typing on a computer, and you type an S instead of an R, and somebody walked up and punched you in the face because you typed the wrong letter. Okay? Calm down. People are allowed to make mistakes at work. Whatever happened. It was a shoot. But now Chelsea Green is like suing the referee or something. I don't know. It was hilarious. It's all over social media. WWE and Chelsea Green are making the best of this. Again, if they have the match at WrestleMania, Chelsea Green just needs to win. Right? End of conversation. Zelina Vega, I guess, was supposed to win the match anyway, but that wouldn't, in my opinion, give her enough to take the title from Chelsea. Next up is another match where I think we could see a lot of weapon usage, and it is the Fatal 4-Way United States title match. If I may, I think this match could be the best match of all of WrestleMania weekend. Another controversial thought, but looking through this card, there are a lot of matches that could steal the show. Ray versus Chad. Grande Americano. Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. The triple threat match for the women's tag team titles. The street fight we just talked about. Lots of these matches have the potential. Hell, even Stratton and Flair, because they have a lot. Their movesets are so similar that I can see a lot of transitions, reversals, and big moves. A lot of these matches can boast that they're going to steal the show. But I think the match that is probably going to do just that is this Fatal 4-Way between Braun Breaker, Dominic Mysterio, Penta, and Finn Balor. My pick is Penta. I fucking love Penta. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say. Much like a lot of wrestlers I've mentioned on this card, he's someone I've watched for ages. I've watched him since Lucha Underground. Remember that? I don't. No, I'm just kidding. I love Lucha Underground. And I've loved him ever since. I loved him there. I loved him in Mexico. I loved him in wherever else. And, of course, in AEW. I've seen him live a bunch because I've been to a few AEW shows. Now he's in WWE, and he's just brilliant. He's constantly brilliant. I don't know if I've ever seen him see a bad match. I will never, ever, ever forget the Escalera de la Muerte between the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks, where he did that destroyer off a ladder through a table. Give me a break. I know I'm like fangirling out, but I just love Penta so much, and I am so damn happy he gets to be at WrestleMania. So obviously I'm gonna pick him. However, my prediction is Braun Breaker. I do not think it's time to take the title off of Braun necessarily. I just love Penta too much. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't see WWE taking it off of him. What wouldn't surprise me at all is if it is miscommunication between Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio that causes the outcome of this match. There are people saying that Dom may win, and that will start pushing Finn out of the Judgment Day. People saying Finn's going to win and start taking control of the Judgment Day, which will also be a reason to kick him out. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's miscommunications or not miscommunications, like Finn just knocks out Dominic Mysterio. And basically they cause each other to lose, whether it's Penta or Braun. I do predict that Braun is going to retain. I think he's going to have a lengthy title reign, which he should. Whoever takes the title from him is going to get launched to the top. And after that, if you're going to take the title off Braun Breaker, he needs to move up to a world title picture, a world title feud, pretty much immediately. Maybe after a rematch. But, yep, I think this match is going to be ultra violent as well. I really do. It should be, in my opinion. There should be tables and chairs and maybe kendo sticks, and maybe Braun should spear somebody through a barricade. Yada, yada, flippin' yada. So my pick is Penta, and my prediction is Braun Breaker. To the main event we go of night 2. It is John Cena versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. My pick and prediction are exactly the same. John Cena. I'm picking him because I love his heel work so much. As much as I love Cody Rhodes is the perfect babyface. He might be the most perfect babyface since John Cena. That him losing to John just makes a lot of sense. I just love him too much. John Cena's a lot like Drew McIntyre. You listen to a lot of the stuff John Cena says, and you have a really hard time being mad at him. You're like, ooh, he's right, isn't he? So, but so is Cody. Cody was right too. That last promo off they had was gold. It was gold. It was near perfect, 5 stars, 6.25 in the Tokyo Dome. And the reason I'm predicting him winning is because I think WWE has a long-term plan. I really, really do. I think Cena is going to take the title from Cody, and then he's going to go on this run where sometimes you ironically see him and sometimes you don't. He'll do the part-time run, but he'll do it gloating. Like, it won't be like Brock Lesnar. Remember when Brock would win the title and just disappear for 4 months? It's not going to be like that with John Cena. He won't disappear. He'll probably come out on Raw, cut a promo, and then say, you can't see me, bye, and he'll take off and maybe cut promos from afar. But I think WWE has a long-term plan where they're going to put somebody over to retire John Cena and have him lose his title. Now, where that happens, I don't know. My favorite idea comes from Simon Miller. Love him so much. I will shout him out every chance I get. But the idea that come December, we just have a pay-per-view based around John Cena's retirement, and he loses the title to somebody. I'm not saying that has to be Cody Rhodes. Maybe we do the Cody rematch at WrestleMania Backlash or SummerSlam or Clash in Paris. I think he's scheduled for some of those. Not all of them, but his schedule could change at any time. But he should retain again. And honestly, this is another conversation for another day, but if you want to ask me who should retire John Cena, who should take the title from him in his last match, or who should beat him in his last match, regardless if he's champion or not, should be Braun Breaker or Oba Femi. If you don't know who Oba Femi is, watch more NXT. But we'll talk about that another day. My pick and prediction is John Cena. I just see WrestleMania ending with John Cena holding the title above his head, probably with The Rock next to him. If you want my fantasy booking finale, I've told you this before in past videos, but I will tell you this again. The referee should take a bump. Cody Rhodes and John Cena should be rah, 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 rah. The Rock should show up, and then The Rock should hit Cody Rhodes with the rock bottom. And then Stone Cold Steve Austin should come out. He should run to the ring. He should stunner The Rock. Classic. Gotta love it. But then he should take an AA if he can. If he's physically able to. Imagine bad guy John Cena giving an attitude adjustment to Stone Cold Steve Austin in the main event of WrestleMania. And then Cody Rhodes should get in position for the crossroads. Cena should slip out of it, pick him up, maybe hit 2 AAs, maybe do a super one, and then he should retain the title. We should have that brief moment where after he takes out Stone Cold, or whoever helps Cody, he gets him in the position for the crossroads. Everyone goes, "Oh, Cena, you f***ed up," and then Cena should hit him anyway and beat him. We should all go, "Oh man." So, thank you everybody so much for watching. Whoop! We are done with that. That was my WrestleMania picture predictions. This is a long one. There are 13 matches on the card as of right now. Like I said, on the current graphics, there's no Orton versus Solo, and there's no Chelsea versus Zelina. So there could be 15 matches on the card. I don't know. Get ready for a long show. According to what I read online, 3-hour pre-show, 4-hour WrestleMania, 2-hour post-show. If you're one of these people, like me, I'm going to be honest, who like turns the TV on during the pre-show just to kind of have it on, you're going to be watching wrestling for 9 hours. Well, 7 if you don't watch the post-show. I never watched the post-show. I watched the post-show clips on social media. But again, thank you for watching. I hope you all are looking forward to WrestleMania. If you're one of the people that are on my channel that likes watching MAW every week, like I said earlier, I will get it out later this week. I just felt like this was more prominent at the time. We were exactly 1 week away from night 2. And yeah, that's it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let me down in the comments some of your picks, predictions, so on and so forth. And I'm really looking forward to WrestleMania this year. I do have to work on WrestleMania Sunday, but my wife and I have already talked about it. At the very least, WrestleMania is going to be on when I walk through the door for night 2. And yes, I'll be doing my WrestleMania review. Because I have to work, it will likely be all in one. Like, I have to work a lot that week. I got to work the 20th, the 21st, the 22nd. I've got me and my wife have 2 doctor's appointments on the 23rd, and then I might be working the 24th. So I do not know when I'm going to be able to review WrestleMania. It may be delayed. So just bear with me on that. I'll make a separate video re-explaining this for people that don't watch my videos all the way through. And as always, we send a shout out to W Energy for sponsoring, as always. I think I just said that. I like to repeat myself. But if you can head to wenergy.gg, spelled D-U-B-B-Y, energy.gg, and enter JT channel in all caps to get 10% off your order. Sugar-free, genderless energy drink. Give them a try. Like I said, I know I haven't yet, but I'm very excited to constantly have them as a sponsor, and I will be trying their product in the near future. Until next time, this is JT Channel. I am JT. Have a great WrestleMania week and weekend, especially night 2, and I will see you in the next one.